Yeah, baby. Welcome to the David Toddcast. The Catbird Seat, ladies and gentlemen. As I told you yesterday, this was the time it was going to happen. And the Steelers put together what are we going to call that? An interesting 26-18 victory over the New York Giants to go to 6-2 in first place in the AFC North. I'll tell you what, it wasn't a thing of beauty. It wasn't dominating. But at the end of the day, it was a win. And let me tell you something. The most important thing here is this is a different Steelers team with Russell Wilson at quarterback. Now, we've got other things. We've got other things to talk about that are issues that maybe we thought weren't issues before tonight's game. But Russell Wilson brings a completely different dimension to this Steelers offense. And the Steelers did what they needed to do. 400 yards again in total offense. 26 points. Felt like it could have been 40 points. I mean, obviously 3 drives in the first half that you felt like should have been at least 2 touchdowns. That's 8 more points, gets you to 34. But they did what they had to do, and they made big plays and big moments. And, Najee had a big game. I think if Najee got lost in the shuffle because he didn't have big yardage in the second half, but a dominant running game in the first half. But, of course, if we're going to talk about all of this, the issues with the defense have to be a little bit of concern. The way Daniel Jones and the Giants offense really punished the Steelers. 394 total yards. Only 18 points, and at the end of the day, right, points are what matters. But 18 points, Steelers made some big plays, obviously, at the end. TJ Watt taking over games in the biggest moments. It is just unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. If you need a monster play, there's TJ Watt, comes in from the left side. By the way, we saw TJ Watt not 100% on the left side in this game. That was something a little different. TJ Watt comes in on the left side. You can see it if you're watching on television. Depends probably where you were in the stadium if you got a good look at this. But you see it, strip sack. I'm telling you, watch this play a couple more times if you have a chance on X or however you watch it, replays of video of plays. I've talked about this before. Watch how fast TJ Watt goes from his feet to the ground when a football is on the ground. I swear to God, the dude, strip sack, he is on that ball. He is on that ball so fast, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how fast he gets down on that football. And of course, Steelers couldn't, they got a couple first downs, but couldn't get the last third down to seal the game with Russ scrambling. Didn't love Mike Tomlin's decision to punt. Look, I didn't have a lot of confidence in the defense in this game. Now, it was a good punt again by Waitman, and they'd have to go 93 yards and get a 2-point conversion to tie. So it was probably the more prudent play call by Mike, but to punt. But I tell you, I would have loved to see Russ on a little play action rollout to his right with a kind of a short and a long to run the play there. But that's neither here nor there. My wishes are not commands to Mike. And the Steelers come away with the victory. As we say, get to 6-2. Let's talk about just kind of overall stuff, and I'm going to come back to you in the middle of the week. I keep making promises that I haven't cashed. We will get back in the middle of the week. But Russ's performance, A. My man Dave Damashek. Dave is an awesome dude out in L.A. We're a Pittsburgh guy through and through. He and Greg Rosenthal of NFL.com, Rosenthal was critiquing Russell Wilson's performance and criticizing the fumble, the sacks. Look, the fumble was a bad play at a bad moment in time. The guy's played 2 games, turned it over once. It's a bad play. But my God, if you come away from 2 games of Russell Wilson putting up 400 yards of offense, a QB rating over 100 in both games, it's just, if you come away not enthralled with Russell Wilson's performance over these 2 games, even better this week than last week, you are absolutely missing a boat. You are a Russ hater. You are not getting it right. Russ was great in this game. He was great. I mean, this is, look, he threw the touchdown to Pickens. George didn't get both feet in. He threw the touchdown to Pickens. Broderick Jones had a face mask. He threw what could have been a touchdown to Van Jefferson. They just kind of read the defense slightly differently. Now, at the end of the day, look, they only got 9 points. So ifs and nuts, right? My uncle, the jokes. But come on, this is the best QB play we have seen from the Steelers in 5 years. It really, the upside of this, Russ finished 20 of 28, 278, 9.9 yard average. That's a totally different number than what we're used to seeing. 1 TD, sacked 4 times. Giants got some pressure. I mean, what are you going to do? Calvin Anderson got, barely. Dan Moore missed 1 play. Calvin Anderson came around him on the 5 yard line like he was a turnstile. That was one of the 4 sacks. 114.9 QB rating. He's going to have a great QBR. Played great. Come on, man. Come on, Double D. Let's come back a little Russ Love. He's the man. He is also the Steelers quarterback. No questions about that. A couple other interesting things here. Just look, some of the throws he made, that pass to Calvin Austin, touchdown, perfect. That pass he threw it to George Pickens down on the sideline late in the game that got that extra 3 points that was really meaningful at the end. Was another great throw. A great catch by Van Jefferson on the other sideline in the second half. How about distribution of the ball? 6 guys early had receptions. The Steelers finished with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different guys making catches, including Michael Pruitt with a 10-yard catch. Look, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, 7 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown, and Calvin Austin with a 73-yard punt return for a touchdown. How electric was that? Special teams continues to kill it for the Steelers. We don't even talk about Chris Boswell because he walks out, you just put 3 points up on the board. The guy's unbelievable. Look, there are so many good kickers in the NFL, but man, Chris Boswell has 1 miss this year. It was from 61, I think. The guy, it's just... he is Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker's just some guy now. Whole different thing. Special teams, what are you going to say? Danny Smith, give him a gold jacket this year. Special teams have been outstanding. So look, the offense, I'm in love. I'm in love with where this offense is going. Najee, 19 carries for 114 yards. Jalen Warren pitched in with another 46 on 9 carries. They average 5.4 yards a game in the running game on 31 carries. That's big numbers in the running game. Weren't as effective in the second half. I thought we were going to wear the Giants' defense. I say we. I don't like saying we because I'm not on the field. But I thought the Steelers were going to wear the Giants down in the second half as they have a bunch of teams this year. But they didn't. They weren't as effective as I thought they would be in the running game in the second half. The passing game picked it up. How about 4 pass plays of at least 29 yards. Both Austin's TD and Darnell Washington's first half catch were 29-yard pass plays. We talked about how last week the Steelers had 5 plays of 30 yards. This game they had 5 plays of 26 or more yards. Najee had a run of 26, 2 pass plays of 29, a Pickens catch over the shoulder for 43, and Van Jefferson, that one that I don't know. Look, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Back shoulder throw there to Van for 36 yards. So, there is very little to complain about offensively. Clearly, the offensive problem, 0 for 4 in the red zone. Okay? That's, got to do better. Just got to do better. But, you get a touchdown on a punt return. So that's by the way, when we talk about the 400 and whatever yards of total offense, that's giving up a possession because you got a punt return for a touchdown. So, the way they were going 30, 40 yards of possession, yards on every possession, could be 450 yards total. Okay, enough of me saying all the good things about the offense. There were good things about the offense. Okay, got the other receivers involved. Scotty Miller got some burn today, had some targets, that long pass down the sideline. Troy was, I thought, a bit hypercritical on some of the things. That was it wasn't a perfect throw, but he threw it 40 yards and it was, right in the bucket. It was good coverage. And it went kind of through Scotty Miller's arms. It's just the way it was. It would have been a great, spectacular catch, but it was a good throw. Just didn't come down with it. But Scotty was the guy getting the run as the 4th wide receiver in the Steelers offense in this one. So offense, I think offensive line, kind of a B. Pass protection broke down a couple times. Oh, what I wanted to say when I mentioned Dan Moore before. How you like Dan Moore? How you like you some Dan Moore these days? Didn't think you'd be saying that after week 8 at 6-2, that Dan Moore's the guy. Holy cow, Broderick Jones, another kind of semi-rough night. Looks like the weak link in the offensive line. McCollum, Siamalo's a beast. They opened some huge holes in that first half. Drive a truck through them holes, both for Najee on the left. You remember the one with Jalen Warren up over right guard? Huge hole there. Give the young offensive linemen their flowers. But man, Broderick Jones, not so much. But hey, let's give Dan Moore the tip of the cap. Dan Moore, what he's been doing here so far this season. So, okay, offensive side of the ball, great. All right, great. Very good. The red zone stuff's a real thing. I don't want to gloss over that. That is a real thing. George makes great plays, but, somebody said it on Twitter. I like this phrase. They said sloppy. A little bit of sloppy on the details. We talked about that fumble against the Colts where he fumbles on the 5-yard line, carrying it, away from his body. Getting both feet down. I think everybody knew that 2 feet doesn't equal 2 different feet, and it's 2 different feet you got to get down. That was unfortunate, but made some good catches and had a touchdown called back. Nice throw and catch on that play. So, yeah, offense, special teams, boom, A+. Corliss Waitman with a 53-yard punt that James Pierre was down as a gunner on the coverage, flipped the field. That was a big play in the second half. I think, how many times did Waitman punt on the game? Just, 3. That one inside down to the 7 at the end of the game. And, solid stuff. Corliss Waitman, we don't even talk about him. He's been excellent. Nice work. The coverage team gave up a long punt return late in the game. They're going to criticize. One kickoff return wasn't well covered, and the one punt return late was not well covered. That went back. Oh, sorry. That was a kick return that went back late in the game for 47. It wasn't a punt return, my bad. Defense. Didn't love the defense. You give up that many yards, giving up a lot of yards in the run game. Really looked like really soft coverage, really kind of a soft zone that Daniel Jones was picking apart. And you saw what Darius Slayton did. 4 catches for 108 yards, 43-yard right early in the game. The crazy thing is, if Daniel Jones played better, Daniel Jones played okay, but first of all, Giants killed themselves with penalties. We would be losing our minds as Steeler fans if you saw this team commit as many offensive penalties, pre-snap penalties, motion lining up incorrectly, whatever it was. That was some really terrible stuff. But Jones threw for 264. Russ was 278 on 28 attempts. Jones had 38 attempts. But, I thought he threw the ball okay, but Neighbors had 2 drops. Malik Neighbors is a beast. 7 catches for 71 yards. The guy's going to be a great player, but that catch he dropped late, that was a killer. And then he dropped one on the sidelines. Number 6 pick in the draft. Steelers coverage wasn't great. Wasn't great. Didn't like anything about the defense. Run defense wasn't great. I didn't think the pass defense was great. But the Giants certainly helped. And look, the Steelers got 2 turnovers. And again, tell you every game, give me the turnover battle winner. I'll tell you who won. 2-1. Steelers won the turnover battle. They won the game by 8 points. Okay, so bye week coming up. And then the Steelers get the Washington Commanders. They win that game on the Hail Mary. Probably saw a little something from the Bears defense about how to defend the Commanders. I know that was a nationally televised game, but I had watched so much football between college and pros and knew we were getting in more tonight that I didn't see a lot of that game yesterday. So we'll see what the Commanders bring to the table. But this is an ideal situation for the Steelers, 6-2 to be in this spot in the Catbird Seat. Remember Red Barber, term that he used back in the day in the 50s, talking about baseball, on a perch where you can kind of see things and make your calls, as the Catbird did. Just a quick look at some defensive stats from the game. kind of get a better sense of this if you watch it again. But tackles by leading tacklers were Porter, Queen. Look, we talked about T.J. Watt. How about Beanie Baby? Your Beanie Baby with the game winner. Third interception in 2 weeks for Beanie Bishop. How about all three on national television? Nobody in the world knew who Beanie Bishop was in May when he was an undrafted free agent signed by the Steelers. Comes to camp, comes to training camp actually with a chance to start. Doesn't start, I think, the final exhibition game, preseason game against the Lions. So you don't know what's going to happen. Ends up starting, kind of gets torched a little bit here and there, but, he's not the guy. He's the guy, but, he's playing ish. And then 3 interceptions in 2 games. And now Cam Sutton's coming back. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly the Steelers work Cam Sutton back into the defensive mix. Secondary, again, didn't think the secondary was great. Didn't think the linebackers were great. Run defense wasn't great. Blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. They got turnovers at the end of the game. Again, going back to the first half, it was 9-9. The offense was great in the first half in terms of their ability to move the ball. They had 9 points. So great didn't correspond to what they put up on the scoreboard. Defense wasn't great. They were getting, giving up big plays all over the place, but 9 points. So that was great. So complete flip. You had an offense that looked really good in the first half and a defense that didn't look very good in the first half. But both sides had 9 points next to their name, which was good for the defense and bad for the offense. But, coming out with the punt return, if you're going to pick one play, as every game, bunch of plays, punt return, pass to Austin, TJ strip sack, big plays in there. But the punt return at 9-9, putting the Steelers in front, and then the defense getting a stop after that, outstanding. Again, look, you can follow me on Twitter at David M. Todd. There's a ton of stuff on my Twitter feed, kind of different thoughts about, as the game was going on. But takeaways from this. Here was the question I did ask on Twitter toward the end of the game. Right now, as we sit here with the Steelers team 6-2, atop the AFC North, only one team with a better record in the AFC. That's obviously the undefeated Chiefs. I'd say the really good teams are the Bills are playing really good football right now, and they added a receiver, Amari Cooper. Houston, they're not playing that great, but they've got a good record. They're a good football team. They play the Jets Thursday night. Jets season might have ended against New England, but maybe they can knock off Houston. We'll see. But the Steelers are, look, the Ravens lost to the Browns. The Bengals got thumped in the second half by the Eagles. And the answer is the Steelers are 6-2. They're in the Catbird Seat, with a bye coming up. Couple notes, Roman Wilson put on the IR, probably done for the season. It's a minimum of 4 weeks. He's not working his way back in at that point. This is we're going to be bumping up against the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday, right? Tuesday is the trade deadline. Is there a receiver out there? Do you feel as much of a need for a receiver out there? Is Omar Khan going to feel that? Is Mike Tomlin going to feel that? I think with this QB play, you see what Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson can do. Much more productive with Russ at QB over the past 2 weeks. So maybe unless there's some real value out there, which there's not going to be, I'm less inclined to feel a need for and think that the Steelers will go get a receiver before Tuesday's trade deadline. We should see Nick Herbig back after the break, probably, maybe a week or two. I don't know if he'd be back the first week. We will see Cordero Patterson back. We will see Tyler Matakevich back. Those 2 guys will be back right after the break. The Steelers' injury situation isn't too bad. And again, the other one, Zach Frazier, the other name to talk about. Walking boot, again, we're not going to see, I don't know that we see Zach Frazier back for the Commanders game, but probably shortly thereafter. It's kind of a 4-week type injury. He's missed 2 games. The bye will be 3. Maybe he misses Washington and then is back for all the division games that come down the stretch. Okay, the David Toddcast at David M. Todd on X. Steelers in the Catbird Seat, ladies and gentlemen, 6-2. Got to say, if it was July 31st and he said, hey, would you take 6-2 and some good offensive play at the quarterback position come November 1st, would you take it? Damn right you take it. Yeah. All right. That's a wrap. Talk to you soon. Thanks for listening and watching the David Toddcast.